There is absolutely nothing more important to me than the client experience. It's not only the client experience when you're dealing with me, with my team, with my company as a whole. Here's a couple of things that we're going to be talking about. One, always pick up the phone. Like, say hello. If you don't have proper follow-up, then how the heck are you having a proper client experience? If you're assuming, or if you're saying, hey, you know what? I told them about this, a couple of days ago, they should know. Already you're screwing up that client experience. If you're having a phone call and you're not emailing right after some of the things that you spoke about, you're missing the mark. If you're emailing and not picking up that phone, you're also missing the mark. If you're not educating, if you're not showing them the path that you're going down for mortgages, it's the path of a mortgage. It looks like the game of life. Forgetting the why behind what I do. If someone is frustrated, if I didn't properly communicate, instead of getting defensive, then, oh my God, let me stop, listen, and receive. And one of the things that I used to do is I'm a box checker. Like, I'll build a process. Like, you do this and you do this. And I feel so happy with checking my box. But in reality, I'm not listening to the person on the other end. So not to mention, when you start identifying all the situations you have with your client experience, it's centered around my problems, like me being a box checker. But once you identify it, and then now you start focusing on it and prioritizing it, then they have a great experience and they'll refer somebody else to get a mortgage because I'm super educational, because I consistently follow up with them. And before you know it, one referral after the other leads to a wonderful business. One of the first things that you have to do when you start focusing on the client experience is just too broad of a subject. Like, just define it. So my definition of the client experience is technology plus personal touch equals the perfect client experience. So for instance, technology, I have a CRM in the background. The CRM yells at me for every single stage that I have. It's like, hey, make sure to text them. Make sure to send them a card. Make sure to give them a call. Make sure to write an email to them. So that technology is always running. And of course, technology can be things like in my CRM, I've got my office line connected to it, so I can text right out of there. In my CRM, I have ChatGPT. Now, the personal touch, this part sometimes is harder for me. Every single client has a different way of communicating. So one of the things that I did is I focused on the DISC test. It's just a measure of how everybody communicates. So I could really be like, okay, this person, 67% of people are an S. And with S's, I want to make sure to continually educate them, really show them the process every single step of the way, love on them absolutely a little bit more, because their communication style is, they definitely need the stability. They need to know that I'm an advisor, but sometimes they don't always ask the questions until there's a problem. So I'm always trying to educate them, and that's through actually written word or video. So you pick your modality. Now you have to really figure out at every moment of not just the transaction, but beyond that, what that looks like. Does it fit within your brand? Does it have the right tone to it? Does it have the right cadence? And this is the part no one ever talks about, that this takes hours and this takes brain power. This is something that you have to wake up early for. You have to have a fresh mind, go for a walk, maybe have a cup of coffee, and start with the different stages of your business. So a mortgage, again, I'm a mortgage broker. The first stage is when a referral partner says, here is Jane Smith, here's her phone number, here's her email. For me, I like that referral partner to put me in a group text, my personal cell phone, with the client. That gives me almost like a triangle of trust. They trust the agent trusts me, therefore, client, you should also trust me. And it helps us start bridging the gap. I respond back, depending on what the referral partner has texted me, I respond back saying, I'd love to communicate with you today. It's a 10-minute call. I'm going to go over your questions and I'm going to set expectations, and we're going to talk about next steps. So I'm being specific to them. At the same time, I'm putting them in my CRM and I'm texting them out of my office line. So you could just see that one little handoff, I have different stages for that, and I'm very specific to the client on that front. So when you're thinking through this part, I'm going to ask you a question. So I had actually Brian Decker, one of my mentors, ask me, he said, Laura, imagine being in a business and you're in sales or you're selling a product or whatever it is, and there's two products that you're selling. You could do that, right? Sure, I could do that. Well, what if the guy on your left is selling those same two products? Okay, well, here we go. What if there are hundreds of thousands of people selling those two products? What's going to differentiate you? For me, that's purchase and refinance. Those are my two products. Of course, there's tons of different loan options in there, but really that's the baseline of it. For a real estate agent, it's here's your listing presentation, here's your buyer's presentation. You're going to sellers and buyers. Those are your two products. Now, what differentiates you in those? So you really have to think through every one of your stages, what your personal touch is going to be, how it's going to differentiate you from John and Jane that are doing the same thing on your right and left, and how many steps, how many touch points in each one. Now that we defined it, now let me give you some 4 key elements. So number 1, what is your responsiveness timing? So if I get a text from a client, am I going to say right away, hey, let me get you that answer, and then take the hour to research whatever they need? Or am I going to do the research first and send them a text back with the response? Am I going to pick up the phone and call? Am I going to email? So really, what is your responsiveness? How quickly are you going to get to them? Are you showing them that you have a sense of urgency, and whatever they're asking or whatever they're telling you, you're prioritizing your needs? That part is huge. And like I said, there's multiple ways to come at it. Now, with me in my industry, we have timelines. We have inspection timelines, we have appraisal timelines, we have close of escrow, we have loan timelines. There's all these different things that we have to do. So in my industry, the responsiveness is I'm managing to the dates and I'm responding quickly because a client doesn't understand all of the different nuances that go in. Like if I have to wait 5 days for them to give me any sort of documentation, then now I have to wait, a day or 2 days to get to the next step, and I'm already behind. Number 2 on one of the elements is communication. So I like to have a day. Tuesday updates are where we call the client, we go over the cash to close, we go over the payment, we go over anything that we still need from them, and we're calling and we're emailing. But then again, on Fridays, we're sending the text, letting them know if they have any questions, just to reach out to us. So we have 2 consistent communications, both via text. One of them has a call and an email to it. So you also have to figure in what you're doing and what your client experience, where that communication stands as well. Now, some people are great with video and others like to read. I find myself I get impatient quickly and I can speed read. So I really love it when I see a video and I see everything about the video underneath. So when I send emails, I do it that way. Whereas let's say my daughter will watch the video and not do the reading, I'll do the reading and watch the video. So not only do you have to think through, of course, the response time and the modality, are you doing text, call, email, social media message, whatever it is, but you also have to figure out, is it going to be video? Is it not going to be video? So you see how you're starting to break down this overarching thing into different little elements. So number 3 is technology. I keep a list, and I call it my tech stack, of every single software that I use throughout my process. So for instance, my CRM is Salesforce. My office line is RingCentral. The API is into Salesforce. I use Twilio for my texting that pulls over my office line so the client doesn't have multiple numbers, and I can see the text messages incoming and outgoing right in my system. I can email, and I use Gmail or G Suite as my email right through Salesforce. It all integrates. For my videos, I use BombBomb. Just different things. If you do a newsletter, it's this. If you have any sort of gifting, like I'm going to send my clients a thank you card, or I'm going to send my clients a pack of gum that says, I'm going to go to the extra mile for you. How am I doing that? Am I writing it out? Am I designing it? What is the software that we're using that puts behind it? For me, it's Canva. So you really got to start writing out your tech stack. And I would say in building the client experience, the tech stack is so flippin' important because it gives you ways that you can touch and love on your clients and efficient to use. So you're not running around like a chicken with their head cut off. Now, the 4th thing is the hardest thing to do for some people. For others, it's not. And that, again, is a personal touch. So for me, I'm a tactical person. I look at things more like an engineer than I look at things more someone that rapport builds. So I had to really learn it. Not to say I don't love my clients. It's just, I feel awkward sometimes. For a long time, I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what rapport building actually meant. And not everybody's like that. I would say 2/3 of people are more relationship based and 1/3 is a little bit more tactical. So I'll speak it on it where I missed the mark. That initial call, I would go through and just ask some questions to kind of fill in the spots that I needed to ask. Like, what's your social security number? What's your birth date? Where do you live? Just very formulaic and robotic. Here's the mark that I missed. And every single person that you speak to, we all have stories. And from, hey, the start of your social security number is really close to mine. Where did you grow up, or where were you born? Or, hey, what you do for a living? You're a helicopter mechanic? Oh my God, tell me about that. Like, were you in the military? How'd you go to school for that? What does your job look like now? That's super fascinating. To how many kids they have. Like every part, especially in loans, every part of that initial call is time for me to actually care. And I really do. It's that rapport building where I'm not just formulaic. I'm not robotic. I'm thinking through what they need. And then to further on to that, I do something called All About You, where I'm thinking through and asking the questions. I'm not just sending them this PDF. I'm thinking through, like, I'm a dog person, so I want to know about their dogs. Or if they're not a dog person, they have cats. I drink wine, not beer, but maybe you're a beer drinker. Why is that? Where did that come from? So it's always fun getting those little bit of origin stories. Are you chocolate? I'm chocolate. Or do you like sour candies? So you start infusing that in a little bit just to get them to know them a little bit more. So do not disregard the personal touch. So we have, how quickly are you responding? What is your communication style? It's more than just a call. What's the technology that's going to be supporting you? And what is the actual centerfold of it? How are you doing the personal touch? So why are we going to focus on this? This is like this overarching thing that's actually kind of complicated. And I just told you to do, 40 to 100 hours of work on top of everything that you already do. Well, it's pretty simple. One, the centerfold of our business is we're all in business for a profit, right? I'm not saying it's just all about the money, but we can't hire, we can't move the needle, we can't do anything unless there's revenue coming in. So one, that client experience ensures that I'm doing my job for you, you're loving on me, and you're paying me for the service that I provide. So don't forget that piece of it. You absolutely need that client experience to be able to continue to grow your business. And with that client experience, there's going to be an increased client satisfaction and loyalty. I love it. Love it when my clients are like, oh my God, I've never met anybody like you. Your team was fantastic. Jen was this. Skylar was this. Laura, you were so educational. I referred my friend to you. Would you do the same thing that you did for me for them? Absolutely. I would love to. That's why I'm here. That's my why. From there, you have the positive reviews. I told you at the beginning, when someone refers me, I put them in a group text. And once I've got them in the group text, I automatically put them in my CRM and text them from my office line, ways to look me up online. I want to show to them that I'm an advisor. There is physical proof. You can go look at my reviews. You can see what other clients have felt about myself, my company, and my team. Don't underestimate that physical proof online, whether social media, Google reviews, YouTube, I don't care what it is, it's pivotal. Not only that, it's a faster and smoother process. I am not stressing out the client as much. I'm not stressing out the team as much. I'm getting a little bit more sleep. In the years where I was just figuring out my client experience, I would lose sleep. I would have clients pissed off at me. I've lost so many flipping team members, not because they were bad team members, but because I failed at defining my client's process and I failed setting the expectation of what that means for them. So if you take your client experience as the heart of your business, not only will you get the satisfaction of loving on people more, you will have a thriving business, but you will also have happy, healthy team members and clients that know up from down on every single part of the process. So yes, I know this is overwhelming. I've been there, but it's not about the overarching. It's about defining it first, getting 1% better at a time, and just layering and stacking and stacking. So if you have questions, DM me. I'll do whatever I can to help you improve your client experience.